once the Tokugawa roll in, I mean, it changes everything. Now, on the one hand, great. The common people aren't suffering under constant warfare, right? That's great.
Yeah. Great for them, but not for this warrior class.
Correct. The tightened control over the daimyo and enforcing loyalty and making stipends more difficult to come by and basically marginalizing the samurai. You're turning warriors into bureaucrats, laborers. That's where we're at. 1630. Here's what's happening with the samurai. So here's what happened a lot of the times. Daimyo commits seppuku.
Well, what do you do?
The shogunate disbands him. Yeah. Well, what you're supposed to do is die honorably. But they really emphasized loyalty and honor over survival.
Okay,
Boy,
so this is when that kind of came into play.
Right. Think of the timing. I mean,
you gotta have honor, but you can't work. We got no work for you, but you gotta maintain your honor.
How else are you going to control them? Isn't it
That's
interesting
true.
that a honor code was formalized during this crisis? Gee.
Don't rob your neighbor, samurai guy, even though I got no work for you.
Exactly.
Your honor depends on it.
Exactly. That's so fucked up. That's where the word honor becomes interesting, because the critique is it's very easy sitting where you're sitting with full bellies to not understand the desperation of a man who's trying to keep his child and wife alive, who served dutifully his former daimyo, right? The idea that a master was such an important part of the social structure. You were honored to die for your master. You were honored to, if your master, if your daimyo was slain in battle and you guys lost, then you're like, I will take my life honorably. I will commit seppuku. Yeah. Boom. I feel good about that. I probably feel less good about it when the steel enters my intestines. But that's the point, right? So I think it really what's the word I'm looking for? Idealized death in the service of your master. And I think to see Ronin I think there were probably lots of samurai who looked at Ronin as lesser than and were just like, you should have killed yourself when you lost.
Yeah, why haven't you killed yourself already? Exactly.
Right.
Okay.
Easy for you to say.
Easy for you to say when you're sitting up on your chair.
That's right.
And you got full bellies and all your things are taken care of. All your daily needs are taken care of.
Yes.
And it's weird to me because I felt like a lot of this was, it seems like committing to a code of honor that gives more virtue or more value to the code than humanity itself is kind of unforgivable. That's what I got from this movie. Mm-hmm. Like it's kind of, because the samurai code, as honorable as it may seem, should never be held with higher regard than life. Yeah. Than human decency.
That's interesting. That's interesting. So you think human life should supersede the honor code of Bushido? That or are you saying that's what? Well, I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, that's what I took from this, and that's why I wrote down was like I felt like that's what this movie was getting at, and I felt like that's the strife between the Ronin and the landed, I guess we would call daimyos, or the people that are still these houses where everything's still the same. They're not trying to feed themselves or whatever. I feel like, does honor supersede not charity but humanity?
Great question.
But because they look down on these Ronin that are not part of any kind of daimyo or land or have you, they kind of force his hand. They just go, okay, well, you come here to do it, so do it. We're not going to let you live now. So that's like, I was really conflicted with like the honor thing in this,
Okay, yeah. It's very conflicting, and I'm glad you're bringing it up, and I'm excited to get into the meat and potatoes of this movie, because that's what it is. We've got the historical context pinned down. I think we understand it. I think really this movie lives and dies on this very question. This is me attempting to steal, man, so please bear with me. Saito's manipulation of Motomi, essentially him praising his honor and forcing him to commit seppuku, is vile, but also very strategic, because like you said, Scott, and you said it well, what is he doing? He's deterring.
Yep,
when you watch me torture an Allied soldier to death and it's horrific, you go, probably don't want to surrender to the Allies, do you?
Yeah, it works.
it's a fucking deterrent. You're like, shit, we better go out on our shields because we don't want to get tortured to death by the Allies.
No.
So it's a very strategic move. And he wants to ensure that his clan, I'm going to use clan house interchangeably. The clan's reputation has to stay unblemished because daimyo are judged by their strength, and their strength has so much to do with their face. What is a huge component of this culture back in the day? Shame. Got to be very
Actually,
careful.
it still is today.
No,
it's
I know.
Carried over today.
Yeah, America could use a little shame. Let's be real.
We could fucking learn a couple things
Instead of doing TikTok dances. But
in public.
in the boardroom. But
it's one thing to be in your room.
So I was thinking of the Bushido code that you mentioned. Loyalty, honor, courage, sincerity, duty, and righteousness, or Chugi, Meo, Yu, Makoto in Gi. Makoto is interesting because that's the truthfulness and integrity in action. But I want to talk about loyalty. It's listed as the first one, probably for a reason. Absolute devotion to your Lord. That's very important in Bushido. That is, I take an arrow for you. That is, I die for you. That is, let me taste that for you so you don't get poisoned. That is everything. Prioritizing not just your daimyo's survival or shogun, if you're part of the Tokugawa clan, right? You are also prioritizing their honor. So I started to think about this. I think Bushido is meant to work up the chain of command versus down the chain of command, right? So what I mean by that is the daimyo may not have to show loyalty to you, but clearly you have to show loyalty to the daimyo. Or in this case, Saito has no loyalty to Matome, Chijiwa, right?
Yep.
He has loyalty to his daimyo, period.
And that's it. So he will do whatever he has to do.
Right. So in there is a paradox because you're breaking tenets of Bushido in the pursuit of other tenets of Bushido.
But here's the thing. Do they, is one of the reasons they do that because they look on these Ronin negatively? Is it okay to say a non-landed samurai is lesser than, therefore I don't have to follow the rules of Bushido against him?
Let's be clear, in battle, especially in feudal era Japan battle, deception was very common. I think on the battlefield, things change a little bit, right? Feigned retreats, ambushes, traps, luring people out, assassination, etc.
Yeah. With that, I don't think in war there was such a thing as like dishonor. You know what I mean? I don't think
it's like the Klingons having ships that turn invisible. It's like, is that honorable?
Exactly. Is it honorable to sneak up right next to DS9 in the decloak? No.
Sure. Honor is an interesting one. Honor is man's gift to himself, right? That great Rob Roy line. We talked a lot about honor in the Rob Roy ep. You guys should definitely go listen to that.
Oh, yeah. Oof, that's a great
this is a different context, different culture. But I think you're asking, does he feel like the rules of Bushido do not apply to the Ronin? I think he believes they do apply to the Ronin, but I think he has a hierarchy of I think when honor presents itself as a paradox, he has to go, okay, what's my first mission?
Keep the honor of my house.
Correct. I think that's what he defaults to.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna supersede any other Bushido towards Ronin or even other samurai.
Right. So I think Saito's position is delicate because he knows that if it gets out. Now, to be clear, here's what I imagine truly happens. I think it says as much when he's journaling at the end. But I think when the daimyo returns, I think Saito says to his lord, I think he grovels before him and he says, here's what happened. Here's what the official story is. I don't think he lies to his daimyo.
No, I don't think so. I think he's completely transparent because he knows what that means.
Correct. Because I think he wants to protect the house because you don't want, as I said earlier, you don't want the shogunate to look your way and be like, what the hell happened here? A Ronin ran roughshod over you guys?
Yeah. How many guys did you lose because you let this guy in the fucking house?
Yeah. you're what we call in the corporate world marginal dilutive. We're going to absorb you into something more profitable. So yeah, I think that's now that doesn't make it right, obviously, because at the end of the day, it's very easy sitting where you're sitting with a full belly to be able to adhere to these tenets. You haven't been reduced. And another thing, we haven't even talked about this, dude. Samurai, as depicted in this film, can serve their daimyo dutifully, respectfully. They could be the Jesus Christ of Bushido. And do you know what could happen? The shogunate could just say, we're dissolving that daimyo's household. Luck.
Then you're not landed.
My point.
Yep. Yeah, you're
luck.
lucky. It has nothing to do with anything else but luck. Yep. He decided not to pick, your house is still there because he decided to pick somebody else's house to dissolve.
Or worse, there's a battle. Maybe you don't even get to the battle. Maybe the battle is determined and it's over and power structure changes hands, as we see with Tokugawa taking over. And then, like I said at the top, they start dissolving these daimyo or whatever. Your daimyo is killed in a conflict. Now you guys are left without, unless somebody steps up. Does he have a son? What happens? But no, I think it's bad luck. It's bad luck that Fukushima decided to do unauthorized castle repairs, which led to the dissolution of his house or his Han and the absorption of it or the reduction in power of it, to the tune of, now you got to get rid of all these people. I mean, this is damn near corporate. With the strike of a pen, these people are out of work.
Yeah.
By the way, through no fault of theirs, they might be hard-ass workers. I'm going to go out and say, it strikes me that Hanshiro and Chijiwa are and Jinai, the father, are honorable men. They seem to be honorable men.
Warriors,
Yeah, they seem to be honorable men. They have that great little moment where he's using the bow. I love that bow, by the way. And they're just chatting, laughing about, wow, who thought would be raising children? We should be warriors, right? That's a great moment between these two friends. And then with the strike of a little quill-feathered pen, the shogun says X. So bad luck now equates to kill yourself? Now,
what the fuck?
Well, maybe what
I served honorably.
Indeed. But maybe the highest honor is to take your life in seppuku to join your master in death. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
That's the structure.
By their standards, for sure, that's a struggle.
Right. But not all of them, because plenty of them are like, fuck that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like,
I'm going to rob
I'm not
people,
killing
I
myself.
think.
Yeah. I got kids to feed. I'm going to go be a highwayman, you know?
Exactly. So yeah, man, it is, it's very easy where Saito's sitting to be able to just know you're lucky. Now, yeah, because that's the sucky thing about these top-down hierarchical structures, is that the guy at the top, he's the one that's going to gain the baleful eye of the shogunate, and then everyone under him suffers.